Thank you guys for joining us. So today we want to discuss with you what we call fraud intelligence. And I will talk a bit more about this, the roots of it tomorrow in the plenary session. But what we really want to do is to give you a snapshot on why it matters, why it can help you. So my name is Julian Nord. I'm a product manager at Group IB, and this is my colleague Dimitri, which is one of our leaders for European office. And Dimitri will take over in a few minutes, tell you more details. Just to give you a sight, we are Group IB. Group IB is been in cyber investigation for 18 years. So a lot of our work is done with Europol, Interpol, when we used to work on big cases. And this is where our intelligence background come into play. So for many years we focused on investigation, and then more recently we started to use this know-how that we had while helping investigation to create certain products that can help the market. Because we identified gaps when we were working with law enforcement, and we were seeing that some data was missing in order to actually help catch the perpetrators or help understanding where the threat was coming from. And that's how we created this super product to really help us with this. Now today, one of the examples we want to take you in that journey on the need for intelligence is investment scam. Now, I know sometimes when we think investment scam, we're thinking of how stupid can these people be to send money to a Nigerian prince, right? And actually, I would ask you one thing. Is any one of you in this room ever seen one of these emails from Nigerian prince? Yeah? Okay. Have you noticed that the email is so stupid that they are spelling mistake in it? You're not allowed to say why, because we had a conversation about this. But they are spelling mistake in the email. Many people think they're so stupid, they can't even bother to write the email properly. This is planned. The mistakes are here to select the target. They do not want to waste time with someone that will eventually catch up on details. So this is here to measure your attention to details and eliminate potential targets that will waste their time later and then realize it's a scam. And this is really important to understand. Scammers are not some teenagers in the basement of their mom. They are professionals now. Everything is planned. And when it comes to scam, we hear, sorry?
Not in the basement, in the living room.
The big room, with colleague. I think you will find that what we see is often this thing that they are doing. Oh, you are stupid, you send money to someone on an online dating site or whatever. But there are different scams, even for very educated people. Everybody had heard of the Madoff scandal with the pyramid scheme. This was investment bankers. Well, I work with investment bankers, I'm not as clear as with you. But my point is that there are different scams for different targets. So here we're presenting the crypto lab. This is one specific scam that was targeting the French audience, and you can see the numbers. 400 million for just that one scam. And when you look at the figures, I think Dima can tell us a bit more and show you, but I really want you to think this could be tailored to you even. There could be some really different scams tailored to your audience. Dima, do you want to take over and tell us?
I can try. Thank you. Thank you. So now I'm going to proceed with the entertaining part to make a lot of fun, and then pass the boring part again to go over to Junior. So, speaking of the investment scam that is uprising in Europe for the past couple of years, let's say so basically for the past 1.5 years, really dramatically, and before there were just some signs of it. So we're speaking today on the just one operation group, so which is that we call it CryptoSlabs just because they use this name for themselves at the very beginning. But basically, it does not represent only one active group. There are several active groups across Europe. Every single group is regionally specified, so they have the local call centers speaking local languages, so that they cover normally Poland, they cover normally other parts of Eastern Europe. They speak French, they speak German, they even speak Dutch. So I guess that Dutch language is the most less frequently speaks
That's a lot
elsewhere.
of people to put
Yeah.
in your one's living room, right?
Yeah, but the thing is that all these groups are separated.
About one of the tables for often.
Yes.
I don't know what's the case.
It often happens. I mean, when we talk about this example, in my career, I worked with other organizations as well, and I once was in a call center in India, where the people working in the scam call center, they believe they work for the bank. All the paperwork was done with the logo of the bank, the building looked like the bank. And when we, part of the investigation, went there with someone from the bank, they looked at it and said, we must buy this building. They did all the work for the branding. But the people on the phone were very convincing. They believed that they were helping. They were following the script, but they believed. And this is how clever these guys are.
Yeah, but this is another part of the story. So we are speaking not only about convincing via the phone, because it would be very easy. So we are speaking of the technical part that is implemented in this particular scenario. So if we look at the types of brand companies, let's say, that are being affected by this particular group, so they are specified only on the French-speaking part of Europe. But again, please keep in mind that there are several other groups that are operating in Eastern Europe, so that you are not in safe, unfortunately. If you check here, there's financial sector, so this means banks, fintechs, everything that is related to working with money, let's say so. Asset management, cryptos, even logistics. So some delivery services, mobility services, they try to convince people that they are investing into something uprising startup that is delivering your food or whatsoever. So if we look at how the attack is being evolved, so the first step is very simple. I guess that mostly half of the audience have already spotted something like this. So there are most frequently some nice advertisements placed either on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or in Google contextual network, proposing you to get some quick benefit out of investing your money into a project that is being launched by a very well-known large local brand or global brand. So there were some campaigns even with Elon Musk. As soon as you click on the page, you will be transferred to the, as soon as you click on the advertisement, you will be transferred to a landing page, which looks really nice. And the major thing is that it does not ask you to leave any credentials. So they just ask you, so, hey, you're interested, thanks for your interest. We really appreciate that. So please leave your contact details, like your mobile phone number or your email address, and we'll get in touch with you. That's it. So very simple. Doesn't sound like a phishing page. Here is an important step in between you being processed via the landing page and you getting access to the login interface of the investment platform. This important stage is the call center. So as soon as you left the contact details, they will get in touch with you and they will actually make a nice brief for 30 minutes. So like, what is the occupation? What is the
They pretend to do a KYC.
Actually, this is a normal KYC, to be honest. We talk to these guys. They speak local language and they know local specifics. So, like, if you live in the Netherlands, there will be some specific questions related only to the Netherlands investment, let's say, or taxes story. So, after briefing you for 30 minutes, they will send you to your personal email or WhatsApp number a link to the investment platform with your own personal credentials. So, again, sounds really interesting. And here is the access to the platform. In this particular case, it is granted using or impersonating a fintech from France. So, a nicely done platform. The major thing that this fintech doesn't even have such a nice one. So
It's actually better than the brand.
they haven't yet launched at that moment any investment functionality on the side, but they were actually thinking of that. And now they will definitely do. They already have an interest. So it works somehow, but of course, so far you haven't put any money on that, so there's zero. But it shows you some rates of the shares, some stocks that you can purchase, and so on and so forth. Then there will be a call back to you. Hey, we see that you logged into our platform. Let us make a brief intro for you, so run you through the platform and help you out with putting the money back on not back, but straight to the platform. So here, there is a fork, let's say. In some cases, this particular group, they did not provide you with any phishing page at this stage. They just pushed you over the phone to send the money straight from your banking app towards the banking account, that's it. Everything started with 50 to 200 euros, but that is why the briefing stage was so important, because during the briefing stage, they tried to reveal your possibly, the sum that you possibly can invest. So in some cases, with one of our customers, the average with the customer with the fintech was 60,000 euros, average losses from victims, and the largest one was 125. So this is just like one guy who decided to invest into something, who was nicely convinced, who was the customer of the fintech. What happens next? It's all clear. You lost your money, but the platform will be still working for you for a couple of weeks. The figures will be going up and up. And if you would like to withdraw the profit, they will call you back, hey, you know, there is like a kind of
A bug.
a bug or a cash out trash. We cannot, there's threshold, we cannot let you take everything out. You need to increase the balance first, then to keep it for a couple of days so that you can make money, and then you can withdraw the money. So very ridiculous stuff, but anyhow it worked in a kind of 60% of cases. And in a week more, the platform is shut down, the call center is not responding to your questions, and so on and so forth. So this is the entire process how a victim is being scanned. What happens on the side for the group itself? So they have a really nicely set environment. So they have, besides all the phishing builders, the CNC servers, etc., they have even a CRM for working with the leads that are coming up from the advertising network. Of course, they have a landing page builder. This is very, very clear. It is assigned to the CRM, so as soon as we launch a campaign, you can be a really nicely marketing specialist. So maybe it's a job for you, Julia. Yeah. As soon as you set up a marketing campaign, it is connected to their own CRM. They have a lead control panel so that they know when, how, and whom they should call. And of course, a communication tool. So everything is tracked, everything is recorded, so that their managers can, I guess, nicely count who gets the bonus.
They actually have better customer management, but maybe of legitimate companies. That's really what we want to stress, right? These guys are organized. We talk about using AI on our side, machine learning, and so on to fight crimes. Don't be fooled. These guys are doing exactly the same. When we're looking at transaction monitoring in bank, they put an email on their side to see what the bank is doing, when the bank will generate alert. These guys are equipped. And the thing which is interesting, that landing page builder, in some cases, it will create unique landing page for each target. Meaning that it's extremely hard to, it's not just like one fake site and you take it down and you're safe. The fake site, their target, unique only works for them. It's, in some cases, it can be very, very specialized. So it's really not to underestimate that.
Yeah, so it's like from a helicopter view. So of course there is much more than that, and there can be much more intelligence if we speak from the pure intelligence side. But let's shift the focus a bit to the, let's say, anti-fraud intelligence. That is why we're here. So
Yeah.
now it's the important part.
Right, thanks, Dima. So I would not steal too much of the thunder of tomorrow's main presentation, but I'll give you a preview. Have you ever tried to fix something you don't understand? Right? We all have done it. Like your car doesn't start, you have a message on the thing, and your kids or your wife or yourself tell you need to fix the car. Well, you don't know what's wrong with it. And fixing something, the first step is understanding it. So we created the same system but the meter system, but for fraud. We analyze any type of fraud and we classify it within stages or phases of the attack. And what we do then, we provide you with the countermeasures that work at that stage and so on. And we'll talk more about that a bit later. But very straightforward, when we look at investment scam, for example, there is a stage which is prevention. When you can, if you own one of the company which are targeted, You can look for abuse of your name, abuse of your logos and so on, and try to detect if scammers are trying to use that on Facebook or whatever to lure your customer towards a fake investment, which then damage their money, damage your reputation, and more importantly, if your customer doesn't have any more money anymore, they can't give it to you. Huh? So we all have interest in protecting everybody. This is prevention. Then there are aspects of fraud protection, when in some cases, instead of trying to send you to a fake landing page, the fraudster might try to convince you to go on your bank and make a bank transfer to load your account. And that, there is also phases you can do. Monitor the fact that when your customers are online making payment, there's an active phone call of the mobile. Checking that the mobile is the number that is calling them is your call center, your support team or not. If it's not, that's a red flag. Maybe there's something going on. And then you monitor the behavior during that session. Normally your customer go and check saving account, and now they're creating a new pay, sending amount of money which is unusual. Cumulated with the fact that someone is on the phone with them, big red flag, you should do something. If you have done these two things in your organization to protect yourself and your client, you should avoid being to the next phase. The next phase is damage control. Damage control is very painful. You or your customers are losing money. But more importantly, for the side nerds like me, I can tell you that since 2017 in Europe, fraud is an AML offense. Fraud is considered as money laundering. And I did a presentation in Singapore last year with the FBI when we were explaining organized crime nowadays. Fraud, fantastic. A phishing kit will tell you in a moment, doesn't cost much money. Actually, I invite you to think, how much do you think it will cost if you go on the dark web to buy all the tools you need to make a multi-million euro scam and get that money? Think about it, we'll give you the answer in a minute. But if you now compare to classical organized crime, drug trafficking, huge operation, you need to grow the product, transform it, transport it. We all heard about the submarine going to Miami from Colombia. This is hugely dangerous. In comparison, the scam, that's so easy, but the risk is so little. Kidnapping, you have to be out, you have to spot the victim, there's camera everywhere. The chance of being arrested are huge. The return on scam compared to the risk you are taking. Because prison for drug trafficking is many, many years. Prison sentences for scam, not so much. So the organized crime are seeing this, they're moving towards it, and need to be extremely careful because it's not only protecting our customer, but it's also that if regulators find out that you're not taking steps to stop money from being cleaned or stolen through your account, it can expose you to many, many things. So when we go a bit more in details, for each phases, we can give you more information about, as I mentioned, what are the type of activities. So here, collecting personal information. Once of the scammers, sometimes they manage their risk. So instead of running a full scam, they will only steal personal data and say, this is the risk I want to take. I will sell the personal data. And then they're selling it, they're making money out of that. We can monitor, the system you can use to monitor if the name of your customer has been compromised, if the login details are compromised, so that you can protect them and ask them to change their password before anyone actually uses that compromised data. So these are the mitigation you can use. If we look at other services for phishing, for example, we mentioned a bit, like is the website content being copied? And because what they will do, they will set a bot on your site to download all the data of your site and make a copy in minutes. There are systems you can put in place to stop a bot from scrapping the data from your website. You do that, you make it a little bit more difficult for them. New account. I worked in anti-money laundering for years. It's interesting, a lot of the measure we do currently is we wait for a transaction to happen to try to look for patterns in transaction. To see something is bad. That's an autopsy report. If someone is controlling real account, controlling bank account of someone, you will see the connection. You will see that one device is controlling multiple accounts. That doesn't make sense. My daughter had a mobile phone way before she had a bank account. And I'm sure your kids as well. So why would you have one device controlling 30 bank accounts? Doesn't make much sense. So there is some more details on information you can provide, but as you can see, each phases come with specific attack vector that the fraudster will be using, and then you can get the information you need. So it's a bit like, if you try to fix your car and you find a tutorial on YouTube that first explains to you what's the problem, and then what do you need to do to fix it. You're a bit more equipped. And it's hard for us professionals to admit to our boss that we don't always know everything, but we don't. And this is why this community that exchange information on the fraud intelligence, helping colleagues to understand what are the scam, is becoming hugely important, really, because they are moving fast, they are really well equipped, and they are determined. They are not, as we said, a teenager in some living room working. They're working in an organized manner and fighting very hard. So these were the things that we were really trying to impress upon you today. I have been told that we are short on time, so I'm moving pretty fast. But as you can see, it's all stages, something that helps you understand. The first thing to fight or to fix a problem is to understand the problem. You cannot fix something you don't understand. And so that's what we are suggesting here with our concept of fraud intelligence. And if any of you wants to know more or wants to participate, feel free to come to us. But if we have a couple of more minutes, maybe we can take a few questions.
I can hold it all.
Any question? There's only two reasons why we cannot be in the question. Either our presentation is perfect. We cover everything.
I know we don't.
Yes, please.
Oh.
Tell us how much cost tools are there.
Oh yeah, did I skip that? Oh, sorry, yeah, we removed that slide. Okay, I would think that, okay, come on. Someone give me an idea of how much they think a full kit to do a phishing targeting a bank will cost.
5,000.
5,000, okay.
$20.
Sorry?
20.
$20? That's a bit low. That's a bit low. It should be an option, yeah. But they are. The funny thing is they are side what people sell the services. So the answer is depending on the model of certification, the target, because same thing is tailored. You can say, hey, build me a kit for that bank. If you have a malware or what, it can go a bit higher, maybe maximum, I said $1,000, but it starts as low as $300. $300, you get everything you need. And it's automated. You can get Telegram channel where you go on and you say, I want an advert, a fake advert for Facebook. Then you pick, you have menu, you pick, say, that's what I want for a bike, and then I will do a scam with it. And it takes seconds. We call it scam factories, and you're a better expert than me. But yeah, a few $100. There was a good example, public example of OCBC in Asia a couple of months ago. They lost 17 million in 1 week for a phishing scam, but the cost on the dark web was about 450 at the time. Now that's good return on investment. I take that rather than building submarine and trying to transport thousands of tons of product and get arrested. Any other questions?
They are not so cheap because they are doing a serious job.
That's it. And it's exactly the point that Dima was saying. When you see a phishing kit, like this phishing kit we presented, that was targeting French speakers, but if it works, you can be sure that it will be converted for other language, for other institution, and they will use it. And they are sharing information, they are sharing the services. And if we don't, as a cyber community, share more, work together to share experiences, they are ahead of us. Right? We cannot underestimate them, thinking that, oh, we are so professional, we are organized. They are organized. Dima, any few last words? We are at the last minute.
So I realized that you are actually promoting these guys.
Hey, do not underestimate your enemy, right?
I hope you don't get any commission from them. Or at least it is reasonable. Yeah, I have a question.
How long the implementation? How much time does it need? And which are the steps of the implementation? For example, there is a decision, yes, just implement this product. how many months, years?
So
for
this-
full operation?
So this is information-based. It's once you decide to use it, it's live. It's immediate. I think what you're talking is a conversation you and I had before when we implement a solution to check the login, check if the real person is logging on. It's very quick. It's 10 sessions. When your users are logging on the platform for 10 times, we can analyze their phone, analyze their laptop, analyze the way they navigate to make sure we create a digital identity, and we can, next time someone log on, we can tell it's not there. But that's a separate solution. It's called device fingerprinting and passive biometric. And I'm happy to talk about that after the session with anyone that wants to. But this is specifically just to share understanding on how it works. Because when you build a case to your bosses to say we need to invest in some technology, then you can go to your boss and say, this is the scam that I'm running, these are the steps, and these are the countermeasures. And I want to invest in this one, because that countermeasure can work. So for example, mule account, if you invest in mule account, it's often in most scam is involved. So by stopping mule account, you can stop a whole lot of scam if you work in the financial sector. So each industry will have different common points to prioritize your investment to protect customers from scam. It varies from industry to industry. Was that helpful?
Yeah, it's not full.
Let's have it because you're further ahead. You're further ahead. Any other questions?
Is this tool also good for non-banking accounts?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Because at the end of the day, the bank is on the transaction side, but if you are on a, let's say even Facebook, for example, they understand that they can do a better job to stop this and stopping the customer on there. Because it's a big issue for them from a brand point of view, but their platform is used to push scams now. So it's just that depending on where you work, and depending on your type of activity, you will have different interest points which interest for you. This work for this company, you want to know if there is data about your customers which is out there. And then if you are only for example processing payment, you are not a bank yourself, but you are still a customer. Then suddenly you get page, and the way to secure those pages is a huge interest for you. So there is, depending on which industry you are, different points will be relevant to you.
So just to sum it up, it can be not only banking, it can be oil and gas, it can be online cinemas like that. It can be retail, it can be airlines, it can be wellness services, products whatsoever. So everything that is working with the credentials, users, and maybe works with transactions, just because they scale any type of compromise. Then
everything has value. So for example, even if you are doing a reward program, and people bring points that they can only exchange for present or other points, it has value. So you think any platform, when the owner decided they must put a username and password because there is something of value behind it, then you can implement protection systems and intelligence partners to see how can this scammer can try to benefit from it. Because that's what they do. They will look at every opportunity to see how can we abuse this. And it's quite staggering. They really scale up to that aspect. Even promotion. The amount of scam which is based on using promotional offers. When we have clients that do online gambling, for example, and if you join it, when you open a new account, you get $100 to spend on the platform. Sounds great. But if I now control 5 fake accounts, I get $100, and then I go to a poker table and I lose on purpose to another player which is also part of my little group. I make $500 for a few hours of work. It's super surprising how companies sometimes do not realize because they don't have that mindset. But once you try to explain to them, these are the scenarios that the fraudsters are thinking about, and you need to be aware of it. Any other questions? Great. Well, we'll talk a bit more about that tomorrow in the plenary session. Thank you for joining us. We are downstairs next to the treasury, so if you have any afterthought, any questions, it would be great to talk to you. Thank you guys.